Hey, what's up, YouTube world? It is your girl here, the Venusian Bull, and I am back with another video, the astrological forecast for the week beginning February 2nd through February 8th. I do apologize for the video being one day late, beginning of the week, but we can still look back to yesterday and see how it affects us today. All right, so definitely go ahead and check out my monthly overview for February. I released that over the weekend, so you can kind of get a broad picture. But in these weekly reviews, I'm going to go more in depth and discuss more aspects in the moon phases, okay? All right, so the first aspect that I want to discuss actually happened yesterday, and yesterday was a very interesting date because they call it a palindrome because it was 2/2/2020. So I believe the last time that happened was back when it was 2002, 2002, something along those lines. But it's a very interesting date. It's something that before that, I'm not sure when the last time it happened, and I think I read that it's not happening again till 12, I think it's 12/21/21/21, like the year 21/21. So that was kind of crazy. But anyway, back to the forecast. All right, so we have Venus, and it is sextile Pluto. Now, this is a very beautiful aspect. This is definitely a good merge of energies. And I'm somebody who is very partial to the Pisces and Capricorn energy working together in tandem because I just think that it's really powerful energy. You know, you have the practicality and the realistic and the motivating spirit of that Capricorn, and then you have the faith, you have the believer in the Pisces. So I think this really works out, especially with these two planets. You know, Pluto is a planet of power and influence and transformation, and then you have Venus, which is the planet of love, pleasure, money, relationships. So I would say this is a really good aspect to be able to make money, possibly getting that from others, because Pluto does have to deal with other people's money. This is a great aspect for if you're in a relationship, especially given the fact that Venus is in Pisces. So it's a good romantic day, possibly a good sex day, because Pluto is involved. You can never forget about that. And this is just, this is just like a really good energy to like collaborate in regards to partnerships, like not necessarily big groups of people, but with your partner or with your business partner or things like that. You're going to be wanting to dig beneath the surface more in terms of your relationships with people. This is not like a surface level kind of aspect. Anything that involves Pluto is never surface level. All right, so just keep that in mind. And this is happening at the 23rd degree, okay? All right, so the next aspect I want to talk about, I did talk about this in my monthly review. So Mercury is going to be going into Pisces. That happens actually today, right now, because I'm filming this on February 3rd. So this is a very interesting dynamic with Mercury because Mercury is very quick, it's very fast, it's very witty, it's very logical, it's very practical. It has to deal with communication, and it has to deal with facts and information and gathering that information. And Pisces, for lack of a better phrase, can be very scatterbrained, and it can be very much all over the place in la la land, not necessarily paying attention to things and paying attention to the details. And Mercury energy is all about the details. So I would say, there's going to be some absent-mindedness going on, some forgetfulness, some neglect that's going on in the realm of communication. You just might forget to sign something that you need to sign, or you forget to change your password or something like that. And especially when it comes to your electronic devices, make sure you're not losing them. Make sure that you're not vulnerable to any hacking or people stealing your passwords or anything like that, because we're talking about Mercury here, and it can really affect your phones, your laptops, your tablets, your iPads, all of the devices, and anything that just is operated by electronics, even your car, because Mercury has to deal with short distance travel. So with Mercury and Pisces, and then later this month going to retrograde, really be careful with the driving. Like, be careful, especially falling asleep while driving. But with Mercury and Pisces, the good thing about this energy is that it's going to bring a lot of creative thinking and artistic type of thinking. So this is great for the artists, the singers, the dancers, the writers, the poets, the actors, the filmmakers, people in the beauty industry. And this will be a great way for you to be able to communicate your artistic visions. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely a communication through song. Like if you don't know what to say or how to say something, Mercury and Pisces will kind of give you that boost of inspiration to be able to do this. This is a very much having belief in faith type of thing in what you're communicating to the outside world. It's also really great for people who are in spiritual practices, who do, you know, metaphysical work and things of that nature. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind with the Mercury and Pisces energy. Just be on alert. You know, sometimes things can be too good to be true, and it's about to be a lot of Pisces energy up in the mix, especially when the sun gets there. So it's going to be a lot of delusional thinking that's going on, and Mercury does have to deal with the mind. So Mercury and Pisces could be you losing your mind because Pisces has to deal with loss. So just be wary of that. All right, so next we have Saturn, and it's going to be sextile with Venus. You know, so this is going to kind of be happening in conjunction with Pluto sextile Venus. But this is happening at the 25th degree as opposed to the 23rd degree. Again, a really, really great aspect to really forge ahead and get things done, because Saturn does have to deal with work and Venus has to deal with money. So let's get it popping, let's get it on. We get into the bag, we get into that money. Okay. So, but you know, it could be being done in a very, you know, harmonious and compassionate way. Maybe the type of work that you're doing is, you know, helping others. That's very Piscean in nature and things like that. This could also be like the next step in a relationship. This could be, you know, you becoming committed, or if you're already in a relationship, it's going to like a more longevity type of status, because Saturn has to deal with longevity and going the long haul and building and things like that. Saturn is not about short-term anything. They don't even know what short-term means. It's all about the long term. It's all about what's happening in the long run. So yeah, this is a really nice aspect for relationships where you want to kind of take it to the next level, as well as like business partnerships and things like that, because there could be a very harmonious kind of organic pairing that you may have with your business partnership, and you're able to conduct business and sign deals. I would definitely recommend, if you're going to do that, do it around this time before Mercury goes retrograde. Okay, but it is really good energy for that. All right, so I have a lot of sextiles here. Okay, so next we have Uranus sextile Mercury. I should really be saying it the other way around, Mercury sextile Uranus. Okay, another very, this is a positive aspect, and this is happening at the 2nd degree. So you have Mercury in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus. So these are the two ultra communicative planets. You know, you have Mercury, which is literally about communication, and then Uranus, which is communication on a higher plane. So Mercury rules the internet. Mercury rules media, and Uranus rules social media as well as the internet. So this is a lot of communicating, you know, to the masses, because we're talking about Uranus. And this is, you know, you may find it easier to communicate your message, or, you know, just communicate, you know, what you believe in and your passions. You know, this is very much a mixture of that, that obviously that practical with the faith and believing, because, you know, Taurus is in an earth sign. And again, I want to stress the money aspect, because Taurus actually has to deal with money. This could be a great way to communicate your ideas in order to make money. This may be a time where you do make some money, and it could just come out of nowhere. It could be a surprise, sporadic, because Uranus is a very surprising, unconventional type of energy. So like, you never know when you're going to get said reward. It just pops up out of nowhere. So definitely keep that in mind. But this is the positive aspect to really be in your communication bag. So like, if you do YouTube, be on YouTube. If you're communicating and like you speak for a living and you do speeches, like, you need to do that. Talking, writing, blogging, YouTubing, you know, podcasting, anything like that. This is really, really a great time to do that, especially if you're communicating anything in the artistic realm. So, you know, releasing music, you know, releasing a short film would be a great time to do this type of thing as well. Communicating your message. This is not a shallow thing. This is about communicating a message that to help, you know, the masses and things. All right. So, okay, so this happens, Mercury sextile Uranus happens on the 5th. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the dates. Venus sextile Saturn is also happening on the 3rd, along with when Mercury enters Pisces. So the last major aspect of the week, let me just make sure. Oh, no, not quite. Okay. So the second to last major aspect of the week is Venus entering Aries. Okay. So this is going to be, you're going to feel this shift because Venus has been in Pisces and it's been all dreamy and idealistic and romantic and compassionate. And then Venus is going to go into Aries and be on like crackdown mode. Okay, so what are you going to do? You want me? I want you. So what's up? Like, we need to just do this. Like, I don't understand what's all of because Pisces energy can be very, they're not direct, very indirect in how they may feel about you. Pisces energy is very romantic and very compassionate, but you may not actually know how that person feels about you. Aries energy, Venus and Aries, oh, you're gonna know. So if you're waiting for an answer in terms of how somebody feels about you in the love department, you know, Venus and Aries is right there by your side, okay? And this may be good news or bad news, but the good thing is that at least you're gonna know, and you won't have that like cloud above your head and things like that, you know? So Venus in Aries is a very adventurous type of energy in the love department. So you may be, you know, if you're in a relationship or you're dating, you may try to do things that you haven't done before, like maybe that are even kind of dangerous. Maybe you want to ride a motorcycle, you know, maybe you want to do something a little bit unorthodox in the sexual department, you know what I'm saying? Because Aries is a very sexual sign. You got to remember that when we're talking about Venus. Maybe you want to dress a little bit differently to attract someone. Maybe you want to do different things to meet somebody. You know, Aries are daredevils, so maybe you're meeting at, I don't know, at one of those indoor skydiving things, or you're, like I said, going to, you know, like a motorcycle club or something like that. You're just doing something a little bit more edgy, a little bit more daring. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is the time some people get tattoos of their significant others. I don't understand that concept, but a lot of people like to do that. And Aries likes pain. And if you notice, a lot of people with Aries energy do tend to have tattoos. So this may be the time that you decide to get that tattoo as well. So, but for the most part, Venus in Aries is very direct, very to the point about what they want. They're going to be direct about their money as well. And it's just going to be very direct in terms of who they deal with and partnerships. So it won't be a whole lot of that beating around the bush. So I do like that energy with Aries. It's just can be fickle. Here today, gone tomorrow. So you can have a fling that lasts throughout Venus and Aries. And then when Venus goes into Taurus, it's like, bye. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of that as well. All right, so the last major aspect of this week is happening on February 8th, and this is going to be Mercury trine the North Node at the 7th degree. Okay, so this is going to be really, really nice because both Mercury and the North Node are in water signs, so this is very magical energy. This is great for any type of manifesting or any type of, you know, candle magic, especially when it comes to fulfilling your destiny and working towards your purpose in this lifetime. So yeah, this is definitely a great transit for that, and it's a trine, so it's going to kind of come forward naturally. And again, I say, you know, anything you're doing in the arts or anything that involves healing, both Pisces and Cancer energy are prone to be, you know, doctors and nurses, particularly nurses or people who, you know, care for other people for a living. So if that's something that you want to do and that's a part of your purpose, this is a great time to really kind of, you know, take heed of that and to do that a little bit more. Okay, just do it a little bit more. All right. So this is definitely a good time to dream. You know, anytime it's Pisces season or Pisces energies in the air, it's always good to listen to your dreams, as that could help with you fulfilling your purpose and your destiny, as it, evidenced by the North Node in Cancer there. So definitely pay attention to your dreams. Definitely have that faith in yourself and the ability for you to succeed, because you have to do the work, no doubt about that. But also you have to believe. You can't be a pessimist. And that's what Pisces energy teaches us. Pisces and Sagittarius energy, I would say. But in this instance, Pisces, because Pisces can literally make a wish and that shit come true. Pisces energy is very magical. And that trining with that Cancer North Node, this is a good time to really make something happen and move forward in whatever endeavors that you are doing, especially if it's in the areas that I mentioned, the arts, the healing arts, or if you're like a doctor, a nurse, a counselor, a therapist, something along those lines, it could really catapult you. All right, so before we go, I am going to discuss the moon phases for this week, okay? So back on the 2nd, the moon was still in Taurus, so it was kind of a more calm and chill day. I understand that the Super Bowl was yesterday, so it may not have been that calm. You know, it's a lot of other stuff in the air. It was, you know, we still have Mars and Sag, you know, getting it on. But typically, moon in Taurus is a great day for eating food and getting food. So I know people had mad food for the Super Bowl parties, and people probably had to order a little bit extra, or maybe people ran out of food because it was just not enough. Moon was in Taurus, people trying to eat more. So definitely a good day for like kind of like not being in a public place to watch the Super Bowl, but being in the house with people, like in a cozy, like kind of atmosphere, and eating a whole lot of food and watching TV. That is the Taurus way. I don't know. I don't know anybody who doesn't enjoy that. It's a Taurus, like myself. Okay, we're a bit lazy, but you know, you have some fun, and it's kind of more cool, calm, and collected in terms of the energy. All right, now moving on to the 3rd, the moon is going to be in Gemini until, actually the moon is going to be in Gemini for like 3 days. It's going to move into Cancer sometime on the 5th. But yeah, moon in Gemini days, I always tell people, you know, you really got to watch it when it comes to driving, because Gemini represents short distance travel. So just be wary of more traffic, more accidents, just more rush hour, just more hustle and bustle and stuff. And things may be a lot lighter today. People are cracking jokes, you know what I'm saying? Playing pranks on people. It's a very fun, energetic, like youthful, you know, kind of energy. Just watch for people kind of having the more split personality thing. And people are definitely going to be speaking their minds. They're going to be communicating their, what it is that they want. And this moon in Gemini is going to make a square to the, Mercury in Pisces. So that's going to be a little bit because Mercury actually rules Gemini, but the moon is there and it's going to be in square with Mercury. So just be careful of, you know, not paying attention to stuff, and just, you know, that whole absent-mindedness. And, you know, usually you may be a quick, witty talker, and you may, you know, be able to get stuff out and things are just flowing. And then that moon comes in contact with that Mercury, and it's just like blah, 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 blah. But in any event, definitely people who are more on their P's and Q's with as far as their communication, a little bit more gossipy, just people wanting to talk more, you know. So that's happening until the 5th. And then sometime on the 5th, the moon will move into Cancer. So this is the moon's territory, and it's going to be there until the 7th. So, and it is going to make a conjunction with the North Node, but it's also going to be opposing all of that Capricorn energy that's still up there hovering. So this will be a more reflective couple of days for you to like take a look within, get in touch with your emotions, as well as spending time with family, you know, particularly your mother, because the moon represents the mother. And you may be a little bit more emotional at this time. But I always say during Cancer, whenever there's a Cancer moon, make sure you're following your gut. Whatever your gut tells you to do, follow it, because Cancer has very strong intuition, as all of the water signs do. But Cancer actually rules the stomach. So like when they say trust your gut, like that is a Cancerian term. I don't care what nobody say. I mean, it's Cancer to me. So definitely trust your gut. And if you're not feeling the energy or of a certain situation, or things just aren't really adding up, if it doesn't feel right to you, let it go during the Cancer season. I said Cancer season, during this Cancer moon. Okay. So, you know, try not to harp on things, try not to take things too personally, because that can happen also with the moon in Cancer. Cancer energy can definitely tend to make people more subjective, and think everything is kind of like a personal attack on them. All right. So definitely keep that in mind. And then we're going to be closing out the week with the moon in Leo. I feel like there's a lot of instances where the moon falls on the moon in Leo falls on the weekend. So it's great for partying and entertainment and having fun and being dressed in your best and going out to slay and being cute and all of that. Great time for, you know, spending with, you know, your kids and being creative and, you know, standing out and just, you know, shining. Maybe you got a little extra oomph, a little bit more confidence this day. Maybe you just feel a little bit more sure about yourself. Maybe you post that selfie that you wanted to post earlier in the week, but you couldn't get the right angle. Like little simple stuff, you know, because we're talking about the moon and it's only lasting a couple of days. So yeah, you're just feeling a little bit better about yourself, a little bit, you know, you're going to be a little more bossy. You're going to notice that people are a little bit more bossy or authoritarian towards you and things like that. But the moon is going to be approaching a full moon. I'm going to talk about that more in depth next week. But there is going to be a full moon in Leo next week. So definitely stay tuned. But that is all that I wanted to discuss for this week in the cosmic weather and the astrological forecast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely, you know, tell me how your week is going. Tell me how your month is going. And come back in a couple of weeks and see if I was accurate in my depiction of the energies for this week. Okay? All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.